By the first decade of the 20th century, tango was well established in Argentina and Uruguay. Its music was the most popular at the time, with more and more artists composing and recording songs, and more people wanting to learn how to dance. Dance schools didn't teach tango in those days, so people used to get together and just practice a lot until they became proficient. According to tango researcher Christine Deniston, it was very common to see men practicing and even social dancing together, and there's plenty of evidence to prove it. The reason for this, according to Deniston's research, is because there were more men than women in Argentina at the beginning of the 20th century. For one simple reason. A great number of the population were male European immigrants who came to South America seeking temporary employment. And while some of them stayed, others returned to their families in Europe. This lack of women made prostitution in South America a very profitable business. And since bordellos offered tango music as entertainment while the customers waited, they became hubs for both the music and the dance, where members of the middle and upper class got a first glimpse of this flashy new dance. Since there were plenty of male dancers available, apparently finding a partner was not a problem. Tango was so popular in bordellos that some people believed it was created there, but that is not the case. Historians have been able to identify one particular way of tango dancing as the first well-defined style. It's called tango arrabalero. The name comes from the Spanish word arrabal, which means suburb. It featured a couple in a close position with the lead's arm tightly wrapped around the follow's back and the side of their bodies touching, almost like an embrace. The dance steps were executed rather quickly and looked a little bit more like a linear walk rather than a circular dance. In the late 1910s and early 1920s, this close proximity of the dancers made tango very unpopular with the church. But by then, the fans didn't care. Another striking fact about this dance was the ability to improvise. This may sound strange to us now, but 100 years ago, most couple dances like the waltz were danced with everyone moving in one direction, and sometimes dancing the same steps at the same time. But tango wasn't like that, and apparently it caught people's attention because it gave the dancers freedom of expression. This new freedom is what made this dance extremely popular in Europe as well. According to Christine Deniston, there are two theories about how tango made it to the other side of the Atlantic. The first one suggests that it was Argentine sailors disembarking in the port of Marseille who would dance with local French girls and impress them with their new dance. The second theory proposes that it was the young sons of rich Argentine families that brought tango to Paris. Back in those days, it was very common for wealthy people to send their sons to college in Europe, or just to visit. Although tango was not fully accepted in Argentina's high society, young rebellious people were drawn to it and learned to dance. When they arrived in Paris showing off their dance moves, they took the city by a storm. Once in Europe, like many other dances, tango took a life of its own. New ways of dancing and new styles were developed, and by the 1930s, tango was a global phenomenon.